come join me today while I try and make some art using this children's art set. I found this art set in Kmart for $5 and it comes with everything that they think you will need, starting with some glitter paint, some stickers and stick-on jewels. You get some markers with this set. You only get 5 though, so not that many. Also some ribbon, and the surface that you're working on is kind of like a thick cardboard type material. And yes, it is Disney princess themed, so you've got Ariel, Belle, Cinderella and Rapunzel. So before I started working on the actual princesses, I did do a kind of swatch test on some cardboard that you use for like the stands, because the characters kind of, they're supposed to like sit on these stands so they could stand up. I just tried them on there just so I kind of knew what colors I had and what colors I would use for what characters, but pretty much I decided to go with what colors the characters actually wear. So starting with Ariel, I'm going in with her green dress, which, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of her green dress. I'm not sure if she wears it in maybe the second Little Mermaid movie. I actually haven't seen it, even though like The Little Mermaid is one of my like top favorite films. I just went with her green dress because none of the other colors would have really worked. The light pink maybe, but I wanted her dress to be, you know, different to the other ones, and I knew Rapunzel was going to have that kind of purple, kind of pink look to it, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go with the green, otherwise I'm not going to end up using it anywhere. And something you may notice throughout this video is that the characters already have their faces and hair coloured in. Now, I didn't realise this when I bought the set. It wasn't obvious. I mean, on the front cover, I think it does have Ariel's face and hair coloured in, and they've got like the marker colouring in her dress, but I just thought that like maybe that had already been coloured beforehand. I did not realise it wasn't obvious, so I like took it out of the package and I was like, oh, I don't get to like work on the hair or the faces, which is honestly like one of my favourite parts to work on. Clothing I don't mind so much, but yeah, I don't know, I just like, I'm not as into drawing fabrics and clothing as I am hair and faces, so I was a bit disappointed with that, but you know what, I still went along with this challenge because that is a part of it. So here you'll see I'm actually adding on the jewels on Ariel's dress, and that's pretty much all I do for Ariel. I didn't really know what else to do. You may also notice there's a bunch of like holes in the dresses that you can kind of poke out, and I'm pretty sure they are there because of the ribbon that comes with this set. I only use the ribbon on one of the characters, and to be honest, I think it looks really silly. I don't know, unless I did it wrong, like, I don't know, it just doesn't really work, and there weren't any colours that would have gone with Ariel's dress, so I don't know, I kind of left hers pretty simple, yet, you know, couple of jewels here and there. I think Belle here turned out the worst out of all of them. The yellow was just so terrible. It was not like very strong at all. It was quite faded. I tried to build it up, but it kind of did but didn't. She also has kind of more of like a orangey, kind of more reddish color on parts of her dress that I couldn't really get because I didn't have any other colors to go with it. I only had like the red glitter paint that I thought, you know, this might darken it up a bit. It looked okay when I first put it down, but then when it dried, it was kind of like this light red, so it doesn't work. I also put on like the yellow glitter paint over her in areas as well, which made it look a bit better, but overall, I definitely think hers turned out the worst. Something else I would like to mention is trying to colour their skin. So they obviously coloured in the faces beforehand, so you don't have to do that. However, they do leave some areas where the skin is not coloured in. So for example, on the arms on Belle, the hands with Ariel, and the other characters have some areas showing, and I was like, I don't really have any colors that can work as a skin tone to match their skin tone. So I basically did a mix of the light pink and then yellow, because the pink was too pink. So I needed to kind of warm it up a bit with some more yellow. Still not perfect, but I think it's the closest match that I could get. Also, with Belle's book, I did not envision it being blue, but no other color worked, so I had to go with that. I also added some jewels to her dress to try and make it look a bit better. After Belle, I decided to work on Cinderella's dress, and this one I approached, very similar to the others. The blue was quite a strong color though, so I was able to kind of layer it up and get some shadows, kind of like with Ariel's dress. And because I've only got the one blue, I could only work with the one blue, and I didn't really want to mix any other colors in with it because I didn't think it would really work. So I guess it's kind of like a one color challenge as well in areas. But with her dress, she has some lighter blue areas, but then darker blue areas. So like there was bits on her shoulder there that were very light. There's kind of the two round things on her hips, I guess. They're supposed to be a lighter, I believe. But then like the main part of the dress is a bit darker, so I tried to go in, I'd do one layer but wait a little bit and then go over again in the shadowed area and just darken it up. The markers went kind of weird after I laid them over and over again, which kind of worked, kind of didn't. These markers are definitely not very good quality, and if I can't even make this look good, then I don't know how a child is going to. But you know what, it's a very, very cheap art set. I don't think I'm going to be using it again, but it was definitely a challenge and fun to try for this video. I also found in some areas the markers actually had trouble actually sticking to like the cardboard. Like some areas were fine, but then others it was just like you'd rub it and then it would just kind of like separate itself from the cardboard, if that makes sense. But yes, Cinderella is the character that I decided to add the ribbon to because I thought it would add a bit more dimension. It was very difficult to film though, so I didn't actually film the process, but you can see a little bit in the corner now, and you'll see it at the end of the video. Lastly, I am colouring in Rapunzel, and Rapunzel turns out the best in my opinion. I would love to know what you all think in the comments. Which one do you think I did the best on? Which one is the worst? How do you rank them? Let me know in the comments. For me, I think Rapunzel is the best, I think Ariel is the second best, I think Cinderella is the third best, and then Belle is the worst. I don't think any of them turned out good, to be honest, but if I had to rank them, that's how I would do it. Let me know if you agree or not. And I want to point out the best thing out of every single one of these I don't know what you'd call them. The frying pan. I was like, how am I gonna color this? I don't have like a black or a grey. So I was like, you know what? Let's mix blue and pinky, purpley color type thing. And I kind of really muddied it down and it looks really good. The pan is definitely the highlight out of all these pieces. It looks really good. Another thing I kind of struggled with but that turned out okay was Rapunzel's hair. So you see they colour in her hair at the top of her head, but then they make you colour in the rest of her hair, which is kind of weird because I'm like, well, I'm not going to be able to colour it as good as how you guys have. So I went with yellow, and then I was like, oh, what am I going to do as a shadow? It needs to kind of match. And then I'm pretty sure I go in with kind of like the pinky purpley colour to add some shadow, and it doesn't look that bad. It kind of matches with her hair on the top of her head. It definitely could be better, but I think it kind of looks okay. I also really don't like how her skirt looks. It looks like it's got lots of little windows in it because of those holes for the ribbon. But I do add some jewels at the bottom. And then that is pretty much it for this challenge. I had a lot of fun. Let me know if you'd like me to buy more like kids art supplies sets and try and make the art that they want you to make to see if I can actually make it look good. Anyway, here's a close-up of Ariel. I think she turned out okay. I place her second. Belle, definitely the worst. She sits in last place. Then we've got Cinderella. Here is the ribbon. I don't think it looks good at all. I'm not sure how you're supposed to make it look. So she comes in at third. And then we've got Rapunzel and the amazing frying pan. The frying pan is the best out of everything, right? And she comes in at first place. So that is all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me try and create something good out of this $5 set of art supplies. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. That would really help and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to go now, so thanks for watching and I will see you all next time.